Oh, do you need me?
In answer to your question, yes, please, mate. Hello, everybody. Oh dear. Yes, if you could put that on there for us, so people can watch, that would be really, really good. Oh dear. So yes, for anybody who's watching this in the week or jumping on, hello, 2 of you jumped on. Josh is not with us at the moment. I know he had a hospital appointment today, so maybe he's been delayed on that or something. So we'll see. But hi, Irene. How is everybody? Are you all right? Oh, Ace messaged me. Running a little late. Be right there. Got caught up in traffic. So there you go. That's oh, I've lost on it. Right, there you go. So there, yeah, Josh will be with us presently. So yes, we were down at Wayne's at the weekend for his 50th birthday. As you may have seen our little tiny live that we did, because I was just showing Wayne how to do the studio through a laptop and everything. So
yes.
And then I think you probably saw Mrs. Wayne running away going, because she didn't want to be sitting on camera without makeup. So yeah, we had a really, really good time. And then we got attacked by a fucking great big hornet that was about, and had lots of fun and played Cards Against Humanity Disney Edition, which was an eye opener.
Quite amusing.
Piglets pink. Yes. So yeah, hiya Nigel, hiya Nat, hiya Irene. So yeah, that was a very, very big eye opener. That was a really good weekend.
Yeah.
And,
it was. Shame I had to tidy up Sunday morning. I wish I could have just clicked my finger and just watched it all just disappear in an instant. But no sooner had we cleared everything up. Both Tamsin and Freddie, my youngest, they wanted to have a water fight. So we filled up loads of water balloons and ended up having this mass water fight with each other, and I had to clear it all up again. Hey, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice one.
All good.
That goes. Oh dear. How was your appointment? All right?
They took some blood. They have no idea, and I'm off of work for sure until the 9th of September. So.
Well, good luck. Good luck, and I hope it all works out for you. If any of you want to know what actually happened, was Josh fell off a ladder. This is what he told us. He fell off a ladder and landed on the tip of a double-ended dildo. We don't quite know how, but it invaded him, and he had to have an operation to take the smile off his face. So we're just getting the results from that. So.
Yeah, it so was working with train pistons. Okay. It's actually much more of an exciting story than what actually happened. But
right, tonight we are.
Wait, late birthday, old man.
Well, thank you, Sonny Jim. Thank you very much.
It was a good weekend. That was a good weekend. Hi, Louise. Hi, Nat. It was a good weekend. Really enjoyed ourselves. And
the funny thing was, I couldn't even remember how much I'd drunk.
I tried to get drunk. I was trying to get merry, and we started getting merry, and then we ate food, and then that was it. And I drank a lot. Nope, didn't even get tipsy. But It was a really good night with good friends, and it was just a hell of a laugh. And we really enjoyed ourselves. I'll tell you what, when I got back to Culture Sea yesterday, I came out of bed and went, I was knackered, absolutely knackered. Long drive.
I'm like that tonight. I'm absolutely shattered. Can't wait to hit my head on that pillow.
Right. Oh, before I forget, Josh, your Super Soldier has sent me a friend request. Do I accept?
Yeah, I think he's probably watching the show.
Oh, okay. Is it all good?
It's all. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want people that upset him to come on and upset him on here as well. You see,
Right.
so because we don't want. Because on this show here, we're always live. We don't do pre-records. And for those of you out there who know this show very well, if we get people,
Hey, that's not true. We've done pre-records.
Oh, only when we've been ill. Shut the fuck up.
Giving out trade secrets.
Well, we put a pre-recorded show if no one's available on the night.
Yeah,
we
if
put a pre-recorded show up, so at least we've got something out there.
Yeah. But yeah, if we get any hecklers and stuff on there, that's it. You get booted and you get banned from the show, the page a lot. So
that's why you guys don't let me see the comments, huh?
You should be able to. You should be able to.
That's why it's always handy to have another device at hand so you can see the chat.
Yes. Yeah, you can get. That's what I do sometimes. Because sometimes some of the comments don't come up on here, so I log on to the show on my. In fact, I'll do that now. Turn the volume down. I log on to the show on my phone, and then I can see all the stuff going on. So I have just seen a photo on my Facebook I did not want to see. Oh my god, that's the stuff of nightmares. Right. Okay, so yeah, there you go. You can always do that, and then you can see all the comments. The one that says Josh has a huge ass and stuff like that, just ignore them. They're just haters, So, anyway, tonight I think we should talk about para-unity or the lack of, and this bloody myth, because I've noticed recently, and we've all been talking about it, and Josh has, and Wayne has, and several others have. Para-unity. You would have thought that in this day and age, after COVID and all this thing where suddenly everybody's an expert in relationships and in this and in that, and everybody's a relationship in other people's business, you kind of would have thought Ghost Squad Scotland Network. Hey, Hootman has just loose about this house. Thank you for joining us. You would have thought that there'd be the paranormal world as a whole would join forces. And we have brought this up before. They don't. And there seems to be cliques, and it's just ridiculous. You've got like the ghost clique, you've got the cryptids clique, you've got the UFO clique, you've got ESP clique, you got this, you got that, you got this, and and then egos. And this is what we're talking about. There's egos. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but there are egos out there that are literally out to destroy themselves, or people that they get jealous about, or to get people kicked off the air because they think they're getting bigger than them. And it's just pathetic now. It's really pathetic. We've got some really, really, really good friends. Two of them are here. One's down there, one's across there, in this world. And there's a lot of really, really good people in the chat across there. So don't get me wrong, but it's just the odd few. But it's like there's supposed to be this para-unity, and we're all supposed to get on, but we don't. And it's because egos get in the way. Carry on talking.
I'd honestly say that's the problem in pretty much everything on the planet.
In it, everyone's
it all spews from the ego.
Yeah. There's somebody in particular who, and by the way, I am eating a pot noodle because I haven't eaten today, so I'm terribly sorry for anybody who doesn't like it. There's a particular person who shall remain nameless who literally screwed their whole career up because their ego got in the way of everything, and they upset everybody, and it's got daft now. Like genuine sightings of cryptids and this, that, and the other. You put them up, and you'll get somebody else from the cryptids side of things going, "Oh God, that's not real. That's not this. That's not that. I didn't see that, so therefore that's not real." And this is the horse shit that I'm talking about that we have to deal with all the time. What do you make?
But I mean, like Josh said, it happens in everyday life, and as one of my posts on my timeline over the last 2 days, I put a post up about having to kill a queen hornet because it was nesting.
You're still bitter about that.
right next to my back, right next to the back door where my children go in and out and play in the garden.
You like that,
and
thing?
It was massive. It was the size of my thumb. And after seeking advice, I was told that you can't let it nest. So what do you do?
Have you read that? That's bloody disgusting. Irene, it doesn't matter whether you're Caucasian or not. What should matter is if you know your shit and if you're a friend of ours. I don't give a monkey's what color or religion or anything you are. If you're a friend, you're a friend. That's all that should matter.
Yeah, that's not true either. Like, I actually think I probably have more ethnicities of friends than actual other white people.
That's what should matter, isn't it? It doesn't matter what color someone is, what the religion is, what sex they are. You know, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's the subject.
That's it.
It's the subject. It's not the person. It's the subject. So it doesn't make any difference where you're from Africa, Asia, Europe, or America, or anywhere. It's the subject matter that we're interested in, not the colour of somebody's skin.
Exactly.
I couldn't care less. If you're a fan of the paranormal, then you're a friend of mine, as far as I'm concerned. That's it.
We talk shit about every branch of the paranormal, not just UFOs.
Yeah.
You know. But
yeah, as I was saying, you know, this hornet was massive and it had to be gotten rid of. And they told me that if you just sort of shoo it away, you could make it angry and it could attack you. Or it will just go off and nest somewhere else and it becomes somebody else's problem. But because it appeared to be a queen, it had to be disposed of because it was looking to build a nest. Then
well, you know what you do now, right? You get a little glass and a piece of paper, and you mail that fucker right to that person that took your comment down.
Yeah. I was tempted, so I in the end I put another post up, actually tagging that group in the post, and actually saying, what do they expect me to do? Open the door, invite it in, and give it a cup of tea and a meal? You know, it's a queen hornet. It's going to lay eggs, and it will start providing workers to build that nest within a matter of days. And then it becomes a threat to my family, especially to my oldest son, who's got a weak immune system.
So not only that, they're coming over from Europe, and now they're taking your jobs as well. Oh my God!
So you know, it had to go. But there was a couple of people on the post on the group, turned around and said, "Oh, how could you destroy that beautiful creature?" And then loads of people underneath were going, "Actually, for your information, they are decimating the honeybee population. They attack honeybees. So fine, if you don't want honey in your tea or whatever anymore, then fine. We keep the hornets alive."
Do you have invasive species laws by you?
We do now of hornets. We've had more and more reports of the Asian hornet coming over here now. But we do have a native hornet species, which is the European hornet.
They're not the native invasive. Like over here, if we have an invasive animal in our state, it's like our civic duty to destroy that animal. That's what's going on right now with Florida with iguanas and boa constrictors. They're actually opening up a hunting season.
We do have with the rising cases of Asian hornet. They are an invasive species compared to the European hornets. So we have been told that if we find an Asian hornet, it has to be reported, and they then come and get rid of it.
Oh, so they have somebody? They just have us do it here with invasive species.
Yeah,
your duty.
Well, that's why I sprayed the one we had on Saturday night, because I wasn't going to let it nest near me.
Okay.
I killed it. Simple.
He did. He wrestled it to the ground. He held it by its neck, and he went.
But again, it just goes to show what people are like. Some were backing me up, and some were having a go at me for killing it.
It put an end to the Cards Against Humanity, didn't it? When it turned up.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, we heard it, didn't we?
Yeah, we heard the Bombay doors opening on it as it came over. It was that big.
It was massive.
We were talking about para-unity and all this. Have you had any experience, either of you two or anybody in the chat room, of this so-called para-unity? Because I do think we have a lot of good friends out there, but I've also noticed that they have a lot of backstabbers and shit stirrers.
It's constant. It's constant, regardless. You know, you will have, whether it's on podcasts or whether it's just on Facebook posts or public events, things like that. It's constant. You've got a group that will stick together and will work with each other, and you're good friends, and that is when para-unity works. When it doesn't work is when you've got the odd groups or the events teams that go out and go, oh, we're the best team around. Oh, look at us, we're great. We've got all the latest technology. We do this and we do that. But each team works in different ways. But the whole ethos of what we're doing is for the same thing. We're all going out there looking for answers. That's where para-unity should be, because we're all looking for the same answers. But you will always get one team or one individual that thinks they're better than everybody else and are very quick to force it out there that they're better than everybody else. And that's when I turn around and say, you see the door? You can go out of it now and shut it on your way out.
Yeah. It's definitely. Oh, Josh, after the show, we need to talk to you about something. We're going to give a teaser, but we'll talk to you about something. You'll like it.
Okay.
Next year, ladies and gentlemen out there, keep your eyes to the skies, especially the dark skies, as something will be coming your way.
Yes. Something is coming from the darkness of beyond, and will be arriving.
Josh is going, the fuck?
It will be arriving at an unknown location next year.
Yes, it will. It won't be on the internet. It won't be on any internet. It'll be a location. So, yes. That's all I'll say. For now. But obviously.
For now.
So, yeah. What's that? The thing is that I live in Japan and I don't give a rat's ass about other people's garbage, and we try to stay out of it and they suck you in. It's very, very true. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now that we have the internet. Your garbage is my garbage.
And everybody's an expert in your own business.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought we'd do a show tonight all about para-unity, because there are some very nice people out there, some decent people out there. I've made some really good friends.
Noreen's comment is pretty is a pretty good one, actually. When you've got monetized groups, especially when they're on TikTok.
Oh God.
Because we know, obviously, with TikTok, the more people you get on your live feed, and they start begging for gifters and things like that. It's a constant thing. And they're always turning around and saying, oh, well, if you give me this and you give me that. And although you don't get 100% of what the person gifts, it's still giving them something. And they're relying on that. And it's, in a sense, it's just like putting up a GoFundMe page.
Not everybody's like that, though. I mean, I am so much more popular on TikTok, and I have never taken a donation nor have asked for one.
Exactly.
Never.
I mean, none of my pages do that, apart from Spookinori, but then that's for my books.
Yeah.
And so therefore I'm providing a product which people are paying for. So that's neither here or there, simply because the amount of profit I get from that is next to nothing anyway. But that's because I like the fact that people are enjoying my stories. But it's because I enjoy writing them that I put them out there. But I don't go on Facebook and say, oh, send me stars, or send me this, or send me that. Simply just to provide material for people to watch. I'm quite happy to do it for free.
TikTok's not the one to do it either. I've been doing it for like 3 years now. I think I've made like $1.75. And I have a shit ton of videos on there.
We do have a few egos over here that literally live on TikTok or off of TikTok.
There's families. It's just everything that they do.
Claiming that they're making millions when they're on benefits, and you're like, you've just gone on TikTok live saying that you've got millions and millions of pounds, and yet you're on benefits. And you've just said that on a live feed on TikTok. You have just dropped yourself in the proverbial poo. And yet they still carry on. And then every once in a while they'll create a bit of drama so that people will feel sorry for them and they start gifting again. And again, with the paranormal field, it's exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Or buy this. That's the big thing on TikTok right now. Buy this, buy that, buy this. And it's all like, oh, that's on Amazon for half the price.
Yeah. It's like the thing I've noticed is it's since the first COVID, since the first lockdown, that's when, because I mean, there's always been bitchiness in the paranormal, but there's always been bitchiness in every walk of life. But since the first lockdown, it's got way worse in the paranormal community. It really has, and it's getting to the point it's an issue. You don't know.
Hey,
people
knock on wood. The lockdown, not the first lockdown.
Over here, it has. It got ridiculous over here, and it's so bitchy over here now. It really is, and it's ridiculous. We all do the same thing. Like Gary said, we're all sitting alone in the dark trying to find answers, to stuff. And you've got all these people who poo-poo everybody else, the ones that get all the money from their TikToks and that, this, that, and the other, and they claim to be experts. I've got a heads up for you guys. You're not fucking experts because you haven't died, lived over there, and then gone. Do you know what? I'm going to come back to life now and tell everybody what it's really like because I'm an expert. No one's an expert in the paranormal because that's just it. It's the paranormal. We can't be fucking experts in it. We've got our own theories and we can know a lot of stuff like we do. We're not experts in it. Jesus. Really not. And it's I'm an expert on this and on that. Poof, goes to their head. And then they look down on the likes of poor little buggers like us and go, F. One thing that surprised me when I saw Wayne this weekend is we looked at our previous shows. Since we've been doing it in this format, we're getting, by the end of the week, we've got nearly 1,000 views per show. And I was gobsmacked when I saw that. I was absolutely gobsmacked on it. And I showed you, Wayne, and we were both like, what? So, it's got popular. And the thing
the thing is as well, you look at you look at some podcasts and you look at, say, for instance, the top 10 UK podcasts, and they're looking at hundreds of thousands of views. But it's not about that. We could very easily turn around and say, oh, we got 200,000 views in the first 2 weeks from last week's show. And look like we've got massive heads and boast about it and be so egotistical about it. But it's not what it's about. We're just happy that more people are watching it and enjoying what they're watching.
Exactly.
And that's the idea.
We do this because we like it. Josh is a good mate. We asked him if he wanted to come and join us because he's over in the US. He's very, very much like us, switched on like us. He's got the same fucked up mindset as us. But he knows what's going on over, and especially in his state where he lives, because it's like one of the capital state of cryptozoology. So, and it's awesome having him on the show with us each week because he's a good guy. And as I say, looking at the last 3 months worth of shows and looking at the viewing figures, I was gobsmacked. And again, this isn't look at us, we've got all these views. It just shows you that when you get a bunch of us like this who tell it as it is, tell the truth, we don't sugarcoat anything. If something's bullshit, we'll say it's bullshit. If something's real, we'll go, wow. And we do give kudos to somebody who's done something good. We don't poo-poo them, we'll slag them off. But yeah, it's just this para-unity now has got ridiculous. It's got absolutely ridiculous. There's no para-unity. Everybody's out for themselves. There's just the odd pockets. Oh, he's back again. Hang on. There he is. Better? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Oh, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Are you there, Sydney?
Come in, Orson. Come in, Orson. Mark calling Orson.
Yeah.
You can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, hello.
Irene, go on. Irene, your podcast, just go onto the Dark Mirror wall and share the link. And it'll go straight out. As soon as or send either Wayne or myself a link and we'll put it on the Dark Mirror wall for you. Or Josh. You're welcome to share it on there. All right. But yeah. You can. What's that? Hang on. Let me put some of these things up there. Right. No one's an expert. Yeah. No one is. No one's an expert. You know,
I
some
mean,
people are people are fakes.
I had it. Was it last week? Somebody contacted me because their mother, they caught their mother standing in the kitchen at 2 o'clock in the morning, talking to nobody. And when they looked on the security cameras, they saw two anomalies in the camera that they didn't understand.
What did you say? Two what?
Anomalies.
Did.
No, I said anomalies, not phenomenons.
Did.
And she basically asked me what I thought it was. And I looked at the video and straight away knew exactly what it was. And I said to the lady, I said, look, I don't want to sound horrible, but to me, that looks like the legs of a cellar spider. I used to call them the thin air spiders until I found out actually what they were called. And they're those little, yeah, very similar to daddy long leg ones. They sit in the corner of a room and they just seem to never eat anything. And they've got really massive long legs.
Yeah.
And they're called cellar spiders. And I said, you can actually see two of the legs moving. So to me, that says it's one of those. I said, however, I said, is your mum 100% fit and healthy? And straight away she said, no, she's 81 and she's got the onset of dementia. And I replied back, that is unfortunate. However, there is a general theory that, like with children, older people, especially ones with dementia, tend to talk to invisible friends or invisible people that are not there, or spirits. I said, because it's that open-mindedness, that their mind is going back to an innocent stage. And so therefore, with an open mind, they're coming through. And she's like, oh, brilliant. And then start going, well, I thought I'd better talk to a professional who knows what they're talking about. I said, no, don't call me a professional. I'm far from it. I said, I'm experienced. I'm not a professional.
I think for next week's show, we should do a show with stories from people who've been in the care profession and whatever, of people at end of life that start to see their loved ones and start to see this, that, and the other. Because Rachel, I'm going to ask Rachel if she'd like to come on the show next week and tell one of these stories. She had a very interesting story about somebody who was a medium, and then they unfortunately ended up with dementia, but they were seeing stuff everywhere. And I'm a believer that, you know, when you're a kid, the back of your head, there's those bits that goes in all different dimensions. They're open and they can see all the things that we can't, and that's why we've got invisible friends and stuff. And then we're told over the years, it's not real, ghosts aren't real, this isn't real, that's right. And you just close off because you think, oh, I'm seeing things. But I think those open up again with certain people. Yeah. And that's why you've got
the darker side of it too. I met a few people that said they were in car accidents and they woke up in hell, like legitimately dealing with demons. Like, and these were some tough atheist dudes that became pretty religious afterwards. So there's some of that too.
There's a lot to be said. All these people that poo-poo stuff and say, oh, this, that, and the other. It's no. I'm a firm believer that we all have within us the ability to have some sort of gift, be it little, be it big, whatever. Both my daughters have. I've got tiny little bit where I can sense if there's something there, and I can tell if it's good or bad. But that's as far as it goes. I can't tell if it's a man or a woman or
spidey sense.
Yeah. You get a spidey sense. Yeah, my spidey sense goes off everywhere. You know, Rachel's got spidey sense. She didn't realize it, but she has. You know, both my daughters, they're clairaudient and clairsentient. You know. And I know there's a lot of people out there who claim to be mediums, but I've only ever met a few who actually are. I've met people who've spoken to me and I've not told them stuff, and they fed me a load of horse shit, and I've just gone, all right, okay, yeah. But you know, it is what it is, and it is out there. So, oh, there's a cat just come in. Hello, Lilo. Let's just move the screen. But again, this I've noticed in the field of para-unity. You have got people out there. I won't mention names again, but there are people out there who are completely disrespectful to people who have just passed over, and then claim that they're actually bloody talking to them. That really winds me up. So disrespectful. Doesn't matter if the person was famous. You shouldn't be going on there the day they died and go, "Oh, I just spoke to blah blah blah." So disrespectful. And then you get their sycophants going, "Oh my God, you're so wonderful." Bollocks, mate. You know. Sorry, that's my rant. You two carry on a second.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and there's way too much of that going on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, and as you can see, Ghost is absolutely fine. There's Ghost. There's Bob, her little. But did you just burp at me? You did. Her son, her little furry son, and Lilo's behind us, so they're all fine. Anyway, yeah. And then you've got. I tell you, the worst people I find are the ones with the massive egos. You know, you get these people who write some books. And then all of a sudden they think that they're incredible and this and the other, and everybody. I'm taking the piss out of you, Wayne. I'm taking the piss.
I thought you were talking about someone else.
No, I'll tell you one thing I will say is that in the cryptozoology world, I have noticed there's some people out there who genuinely think that they are God's gift, and they're not. And then I've looked at some of the stuff they do, and I've looked at some of the people that they've had on, and I'm literally like, what the is this crap, you know, like and staged acting and no, but they genuinely think they're the best, you know, and other people who suddenly wreck their own careers by slagging everybody off and then wondering why everybody suddenly doesn't like them. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. And then you got people trying to screw other people over for likes and money. And then you got other people getting jealous of other people's shows or other presenters or whatever the fuck, on all walks, on all different things. And it's just stupid. Really.
And the problem is that if you want what you do to be successful, you have to be careful on what you do and how you do it. Because for those that you step on the way up, for all they know, there could be one hell of a problem waiting for them at the top of that ladder. And as they're falling, they've got to pass all those people that they stepped on the way down.
Yep. And that's happened with an individual recently. All the people that they've pissed off and they stepped down, they screwed themselves over. Nobody else did it. They did it to themselves. And now you've got all the people. One in particular, I had somebody accusing me of sending them disgusting emails. At the time, I was dealing with the death of my mum and clearing her bungalow and her funeral arrangements and everything. And I went kind of mental. I went absolutely fucking mental. And I was effing and jeffing and saying, "You, if I ever see you, I'm going to fuck," you know. And then a few months later, or a few weeks later, it was like, "Oh, it wasn't you, was it? I'm terribly sorry." No, fuck off. Excuse me. Oh. So, Lynn, yes, drop us, send any of us here your stories for next week's show.
Yeah.
And we'll bring up anybody who's worked in the or knows of any of the stories in the care community or who's worked
or even anybody that has worked also in the funeral director sector.
And by that, I don't mean Jimmy Savile.
Because I have heard a lot of stories about funeral directors who have been working in either doing the makeup for the deceased or actually sort of getting the coffins prepared, and they've heard things that they can't explain. Or I've seen videos on TikTok, and you can usually, like we've said before so many times, you can tell the fakes from the real thing. Because some of them are so bloody obvious, and you can also analyze the video footage, and you can look at the digital grade of it, and you can see whether things have been added to it at a later date. But funeral directors as well. I used to live right next to a funeral director's, and there used to be lights on in the building when I know for a fact that they turn all the lights off, and there's no one else there. And they used to get call outs for the private ambulance. So that would be the only time that they would ever be there sort of overnight. And yet they would have the lights on at be say 1 o'clock in the morning. The light would be on, but the private ambulance would still be there and it would never move for the whole night. But the light would then go off about a half hour later and there would be nobody there at all. And you're like, okay, I had a friend then started working for them, and I said, while you're in there, can you check and make sure that that light is not on a timer? Because you know, some people, they have timers, don't they, set on their lights, so that when they go away on holiday, they have the lights come on at a certain time, they go off at a certain time.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
right, yeah.
creates the appearance that someone's there. And he turned around and said, no, he said, we don't have no timers on any of the lights there. There's only motion sensor ones outside, and the ones inside will only come on if you physically turn them on. So
when you say turn them on, do you mean you have to go up to the switch and go, oh, I'm gonna
yes.
We had to tickle the underneath of the light switch. We had to go, oh yes,
tickle the light switch is gooch. Yeah.
So I mean, anything like that, whether it's the care profession, funeral directors, anything like that.
Yeah, anybody's got stories like that, send them to us and we'll put them on next week's show. Josh, you got anything like that? Or do you know anything like that? Have you ever,
like I said, I interviewed a couple guys. I interviewed a couple people that told me they died, came back, and they did not go to a good place.
There's I saw a thing about some. It was over in America. Some dude, his best mate. He was a bit dodgy, a gang member. And there was two of them, and then one of them left and made something of himself and became a good guy. But he still stayed mates with this other one. And this other one, it wanted to get out of the gangs, but was just dodgy as hell and kept stealing and robbing all the time. And then he said one day he had a phone call from his friend, and he said it was on his mobile. And he said his friend had no idea where he was, but there was things going on. There was horrible things attacking him, and he could hear these things coming at him on the recording. And he was punching and fighting with these things. And then eventually he was like, "What the fucking hell's going on there?" Long story short, there was this really long call. It was recorded. All these things kept attacking this guy, and then you heard him go, "No, get off me! Get off me! No, ah!" And then that was it. And you just heard these things like whooping and yelling. Turned out his mate had died a couple of weeks before that, and it was gang related or something horrible. And then he had this phone call. It was on a TV program about all mysterious shit. And I was watching that, and I was like, "Ooh!" Now I've heard of stuff like this before, like crisis apparitions and things like that. But I found that one really interesting. So. Yeah, if anybody's got any things like that, bring them on. Bring them on for next week, so we'll do that. But yeah, Josh, if you got anything or anybody who would like to, if ever you got any of your guys who would like to come on this show, give us a shout. They're welcome to come on.
You heard that, everybody? They asked for it. So.
Yeah, you've never experienced a Dark Mirror show, so if you come on here and we think you're full of shit, we'll tell you. So.
What's that thing going on TikTok? I have to ask. Apparently, the British government's threatening to indict Americans. They're talking about whistleblowing stuff in Europe. We have one of your judges in the little white wig literally saying, if you're a keyboard warrior, we don't care. We'll come and arrest you. It doesn't matter if you're across the pond. We can get you.
Oh, is this
What's that about?
Bloody
with the riot? Yeah.
No. He's the new prime minister, and he's just as bad as the old bloody prime minister, if not worse.
He's worse.
He's full of crap.
Well,
or it could be like the Labour councils in Australia apparently now are looking into fining people $100 for swearing in public.
You all realize we all carry guns here, right?
I don't get it. I don't get it. That'd be like us being on one of your shows and then one of your guests goes bang, 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 and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have him for that. I think in worse, really nasty cases, then yeah, there should be something in place for stuff like that. I do.
Yeah, I think basically what it is, it's a warrant. An international warrant gets requested. So if the level of online abuse is that severe, they can put in an international warrant where you can then be extradited to the country where the warrant is issued.
Our email's going across the bottom there, Noreen. Or send it to myself, Wayne. Or John.
Yeah, since they don't even pick up people on warrants here anymore. I'm seeing them doing an international warrant.
But it was funny. I don't know whether I shared it
I
to you,
thought I
Mark,
thought it
but
was hilarious too.
there was a brilliant clip on TikTok, and it was from the TV comedy series Red Dwarf. Yeah. Yeah, whoever, either one of us.
I'm now showing Noreen the website, the email address on the bottom there. There's that as well. So yeah.
And it was Johnny Vegas, who was dressed up as a pink policeman, and the Red Dwarf guys have gone on board this ship to try and tell them that their ship's heading into a supernova, and this pink policeman is standing there going, "Have you been criticising lately? Where I want to breathalyze you to see if you've been criticising. You're reading 98. I'm going to have to take you down to the station." And it was all because he was criticising what this couple was saying. And I put a comment on there saying, that sounds familiar recently. And all of a sudden, it's just bombed. I've had literally within the space of 20 hours, I've had 196 likes on my comment alone. And it's just, that's how bad it's getting, where you want to say something, you are ridiculed, and you're far right because you've said it.
Oh, it's pathetic over here now. It really
And
is.
it's stupid.
I mean, I will touch very briefly on the crap that's been going on over here. People went on social media, lied about a nasty incident that happened over here, and blamed people coming in on floating doors and boats and this, that, and the other, for illegal immigrants for doing it. It wasn't. It was somebody who was brought up over here. They were a different colour, but there was somebody who was brought up over here in Wales and was a Welsh lad, and he'd flipped out and stabbed some kids. They're nasty to do, and he needs to have the full length of the law thrown at him for what he's done, if not more. But going around blaming people from other countries who've actually had their kids born here and they've grown up here and they've done nothing wrong, and then you're going to go and like attack them or go and beat up their churches and mosques because they've done. No, that's wrong. It's the ones who are wanted in their own countries because they're real bad criminals, and then they sneak in over here illegally and then do shit over here. It's them that you need to be looking at, and it's them that the government needs to be sorting out.
Yeah, it's been a series of incidences that have happened, and the population. The population is just seeing what's going on, and they've just said, "Look, you're not doing enough." The Bobberman has turned around and said, "Well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," but not looking at the core problem. And it doesn't help when they've only, when they're a new Bobberman as well, and they've gone back on what they said they were going to do, and they've broken promises, and just general population is now fed up of it already within 3 weeks. And they're retaliating. They're letting their anger be known.
We said it would happen. We've had the last 3 months, we had Labour and Conservative and back to Labour. Every single one of them said they were going to do this, and this. As soon as they got in, they went back on every single thing they said, and they lied, and they've broken all their promises. All of them. Well, that's politics for you.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that could be classed as paranormal. That's a subject that should be studied a little bit better.
What, the fact that they forget everything they said? Strange that.
Well, no, the fact that we've got complete morons running the country.
I don't know. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Anyway, back to Para-Unity. That's our whinge over and done with. Para-Unity. How is it for you guys over there in America?
What? How is it? Same thing. I know a bunch of major groups that have broken up because of disagreements. It honestly seems like every time there's like a big conference that comes together, there's more hurt feelings than actual work that gets done. But I do love a conference. So what do you get? What can you do?
It's stupid. It's egos, and I just find the whole thing thoroughly unsavory and ridiculous. It's over the last couple of years. So it's over last COVID thing, and I've noticed it's got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And there's so much backstabbing in it as well. It's It's ridiculous. It really is. We all do the same thing. None of us are experts in any of it because, as I said, none of us are friends with an alien without realizing, unless we don't realize it. I've never been on a spaceship. I'd absolutely love to. I'd love to be mates with somebody from another planet. You know, I've never crossed over and then come back and gone, actually, do you know what it's like over there? All this stuff, you can't be an expert in any of it. You know, so all of us I know. Bollocks, mate.
I once had somebody fight with me in one of my lives about the color of Assyrians, and I was like, go ahead, give one a call. Get them up on my camera.
Yeah.
You're the bigger expert than me. Call them up. Well, I don't know. Well, what do you expect? It said in this book. And I'm like, well, I'm going off of what people have told me that they have seen.
And yeah, like Irene said in there, social media's gone too far now. We can't say suicide or Sasquatch. I hate that word, unalive. Yeah, I can't stand that myself. I don't know. I don't understand where all this PC crap has come from. You know, it's pathetic.
Again, we're spending too much time protecting the minority that may be offended by a word.
I think that's
the key problem.
Look at our show. We have so many people in the chat room from all diversities. And I'm talking religion, sex, cultures, colours, everything. Yet they're all getting on. There's no hate there. There's no hate from us. We're all getting on. So I don't get it. Why is there all this nonsense? Why is all this hatred and bullshit and barrier unity?
I think a lot of it is all down to the fact that they benefit more by kicking off over it, and they get more attention paid to them by doing so.
Yeah, exactly. It's bloody ridiculous.
Somebody's theory doesn't follow somebody else's theory, so then that makes their book prices and their beliefs go down. So they have to argue with that person.
Yeah.
It's when you let things become corporate and just start taking the research out, it's the major problem.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, have you ever gone out there and met a Sasquatch and gone, "Hiya, mate, how you doing?" And, "Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Oh, what you said about me was real. It was all true." Has anybody ever had that happen to them? Fucking no.
Well, he told me not to tell anybody.
You know what? You're right. I'm an Apache, actually, but I'll see you tomorrow. I'm just going to go and tear some throats out. All right? Later, mate. No, it's never fucking happened, does it? No one's an expert.
You almost broke into an Australian accent then.
Hey, it's me, Mario. I'm going to tear your throat out, huh?
I said Australian, not Italian.
Oh, and last week, I do apologise if anybody got offended. I did get given a served card, and I had to do half an hour in an Indian accent. It was
who said he's suing us?
It wasn't meant racist, so I still think we should get the serve game, the bros one, and every now and again go, ha!
I was panicking something chronic on Saturday because I half expected you or Rachel to pull one of them cards out on me.
You didn't?
We discussed it. We did discuss it, and we were like, "Shall we?" And then
could you imagine me after a couple of drinks trying to do that? That would have been so funny.
I think we should do that on the show, though. I do think we should get the served bros edition because we've got the couples one, but we should get the served bros edition, each one of us, and then every now and again, no time limit. Every now and again, just go. I think that'd be a good idea. What do you guys in the chat room think? I think it'd be a really good idea. And Irene's done a good point. Hang on. Paranormal and religious beliefs drives me nuts. I'm a Shintoist and I can scream. I have had the church. Now, the church have written to me when I've approached them and asked if I could investigate certain places that belong to the church, certain crypts. Totally, because I'd always be totally respectful. I'd never leave any mess. I don't believe in putting rubbish in any way religious, spitting, swearing, nothing like that. And I've had them email me and say, "No, we don't believe in that. We don't believe in spirits and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Hang on,
whoa. Wait, what about the Holy Spirit?"
Thank you, the Holy Spirit, and aren't you always promoting the afterlife? You know. So
that is probably one of my that is probably one of my biggest bones of contention when you've got a very religious person or a minister of the church or a monk or a nun that turns around and says that they believe in God but not in ghosts. That is the biggest thing that set me off.
So you've been
Because-
wasting your life for 20 years. You just went through all this school and the whole Holy Spirit thing, and you just were like, nah.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, are that real too or not? Or dragons? Come on, Father.
To believe in God but not in ghosts is probably the ultimate hypocritical thing to say when it comes to their faith or their religion, because I can't remember how many times. I think it was something like 365 times in the Old and the New Testament of the Bible that it states the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, so on.
I would have not let it go from there, man. I would have been all like, so what happened to Jesus in the tomb? Did the disciples just move him? What do you believe, Father?
Yeah.
That's why my dad, my old man, he was ex-SAS. He originally went to a seminary because he was going to be a priest. And because he got picked on in the seminary, he flipped out and started smashing people's heads in. They went, Jesus, I don't think this is for you. So he became a sniper in the SAS, but hey, horses to courses. But the fact that we are trying to get knowledge into things that the church promotes, to have the church then turn around and go, no, we don't believe in it. That is pot kettle black, and that is so hypocritical.
Yeah.
And when you see the likes of these online preachers and this, that, and the other, and it's not just America, but I will use that American one who just bought himself a plane. And they're obvious, absolute fuckwits who just are out there to make money out of the gullible and the people who need some help and need some proper, if you're religious, need some proper religious teachings, talkings to your faith, redefined, whatever. What you don't need is some nut job who goes out and buys himself a plane, and then when he gets interviewed, looks like he's off his face on crack, going,
Yeah.
real.
I was about
That guy's
to
a goddamn demon. If there is one, if they're real, that dude is definitely one.
I was about
The one
to
that got a
mention
good
him.
deal on the plane. Yeah.
I could
Little snaky eyes.
I
Or
couldn't
reptilian or
remember.
something, man. There's something with that guy. It's not good.
No, it was on sale.
I couldn't remember the dude's name, but I was about to mention him as well when the reporter said to him, "So how did you get the plane?"
Well, it was a deal. He was my buddy, and he had a deal. I couldn't just let.
Is your mic all right? Is your mic all right, Josh?
Oh, can you hear us, Josh? Oh,
What the fuck?
you gone sideways, Josh? Hello.
He's frozen as well. He'll be back in a minute. But yeah, para unity and all that stuff. Just so many hypocrites. So many hypocrites.
The only thing you can do is, like the friends you have within your own little groups, is just to keep carrying on as you are, not getting involved with anybody else's issues, and just keep going as you are, because that's the only way you're going to have your own little form of para unity. Because otherwise you get brought into other people's issues that you may not necessarily want to be brought into.
It's just absolutely rubbish. And as I say, when you've got people that he's gone again, that screwed themselves up and screwed their own career up because of their bloody ego. And you just look at it and think, why? Just why? And it's like I say, there's things that we don't have over here in the UK that we can't be an expert in, like Sasquatches, because we do have them over here, but it's nowhere near as big as it is in in the US. Yeah. So obviously over there they've got all the vast woodlands and this, that, and the other. They know what to look for. They know the trails. They know the hares. They know all these things, and they can be experts on that. Yeah, and the same with like mythical beasts. The Jersey Devil, vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers. You can know what to look for, and you can look for the trails and the bits of hair and this, that, and the other that get left, but you can't actually be an expert on it because you wouldn't be alive.
Sorry, the doctor called me.
That's all right, mate. No worries. But yeah, we're just saying people can be like experts in finding trails and finding hairs and samples and knowing where like a Sasquatch has been or a skinwalker's been, or studying the law, the native law of skinwalkers and this, that, and the other. You can be experts in that. But unless you've actually physically got hold of one and gone, oh, let me give you a hug, whilst it's going to be, you know, you can't.
Yeah.
Skinwalkers is one of them weird things, though, too, where like the natives literally try to keep that all secret so it doesn't affect anybody else, because they call it bad magic and they don't want anybody learning about it. I don't feel like there's any real experts on that, unless you're like a shaman and it's been passed down generation to generation.
But it's like somebody turning around and saying they're an expert on the Skinwalker Ranch, yet they've never been there. You know, I would have said an expert on the Skinwalker Ranch would be one of the people that has spent a considerable amount of time there studying what phenomenon goes on there. You know, someone that's just watched the series and read books about Skinwalker Ranch doesn't make them an expert.
No.
Irene, I would be willing to, especially since I've seen how Baki dealt with it in that anime.
I'd love to go to Skinwalker Ranch. I'd love to.
Yeah. I was not about Skinwalker Ranch. I was talking about going after the Japanese Bigfoots.
I'd love to do that. Is that what the Hibigon is?
Yeah.
I'd love to go and have a look for that any day. I had the money for a plane ticket. Me and Rachel. And
I would like to go and have a look for any of them. To be honest,
where we are in Yorkshire, we're in the Wolds Triangle, and there's lots and lots of lore and history here. And there's been sightings as recent as 2022, I think it was, with skinwalkers, werewolves, whatever you want to call it, not far from here at all. Not far at all. And
that's just you when you've had too much to drink.
Actually, I
wasn't. You guys have skinwalkers by you?
Hey?
I never heard of that. I've never heard of skinwalkers.
Yeah. Look up the it's called the Wolds Triangle, WOLDS, Wolds Triangle. Look that up and you'll see all sorts of things about it. But yeah, we have that here, and I never knew we had I knew about things called the hairy men of Scotland, which was Bigfoot. And I never knew there was anything else anywhere else in the country until recently, until I moved here. And then I heard about the Wolds Triangle and I started researching it, looking into it. And I was like, what the fuck? There's lots all over the UK. But it's only in like the oldest villages, the oldest places. That goes back nearly 1,000 years, you know.
I think there is knowledge of one being one in Kent. Buckley Village apparently has one or two.
Well, to be absolutely honest, I've been to Kent and I've been to Essex, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. I've seen half of them, you know. What, mate? Fucking hell! I'm Danny Dyer. Anyway.
Yeah, just remember that. Well, saying that is more sort of into London than Essex.
There's a lot everywhere. Even Hull had what was his name? Smelly. The werewolf. There's a werewolf in that was in Hull in the 70s. Smelly. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, there was documented werewolf in Hull, and Hull's 22 miles from here. But yeah, if you look at where we are in Scarborough, there's lots and lots of history and folklore and things I just never knew were real here. So
I think it's not until you start looking into it that you actually find out these things.
I think, and also a lot of things like this, like demonologists and experts in the Fae and experts in aliens and this and that and doorways and blah, 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 blah. I think a lot of I'm religious, but in my own thing. I'm not Catholic. I'm not C of E. I believe there is a higher intelligence way above the Anunnaki, who weren't gods, they were aliens. Aliens! I got one in there. But even the Anunnaki said, we're going to be done. We're going to be hauled over the coals for what we've done. And they were scared of something. So I do believe there is.
I honestly think everybody gets the Anunnaki shit wrong. I don't think Anunnaki is a group or like a race. I think that was a group. Kind of like the Roman Empire, or you know what I mean? Or
well, all Anunnaki meant people from space. That's all it meant.
I think there's a deeper thing to that too. I think there's more than just that group, and that there was multiple groups here, one before us. That makes any sense.
There was
I think the Anunnakis were just a faction that were here for a very short time.
Well, they had a scrap. They had a scrap here on Earth, and that's where I think you get the angels and demons from, because we had no clue what they were. And you had the good guys fighting the bad guys, and the bad guys using weapons and shit that we didn't understand, so we probably thought it was spells and magic and crap. And the same with the angels being the good Anunnaki, because they were fighting for our rights, you know. So I think that's where all that comes from. But I do think a lot of the Fae were precursors. I do think a lot of the things that we class as angels and demons were precursors or Anunnaki, or came through the doorways from different dimensions. They're not necessarily what we think they are. They're just from somewhere else, you know. And I think there's a lot of that goes on, and a lot that we need to look into, because we just don't understand it. And I think there's a lot of misidentification goes on with that, you know.
Right, I've just found the article regards to the werewolf. The werewolf in Hull, it was nicknamed Old Stinker.
That's it.
And it was numerous witnesses had seen this werewolf-like thing. One couple had actually seen this creature eating a German Shepherd dog.
Oh, don't listen, Ghost.
And apparently locals do gather on a full moon to hunt for what could be Old Stinker. But people have seen it running up an embankment and jumping over an 8-foot fence with an animal in its mouth. 1 minute it was running on 2 legs, and then it was running on 4. You know, it's
dogman behavior.
You know, it's the next. It was down on all 4s, running like a dog. I was terrified. It vaulted 30 foot over to the other side and vanished up the embankment and over a wall into some allotments. So they both ran on 2 legs and on all 4s. As if with qualities of both human and wolf.
And the thing is, I don't know how big a skinwalker's territory is. Hull's 22 miles away, and there's sightings all the way from there, all the way down to where we are here in Scarborough, to just outside Scarborough and a few miles beyond, in all the little tiny villages. And Old Stinker, he was described because he had that same smell that what's the Sasquatch you've got over there? The swamp one that smells.
Yeah, I mean, they all kind of, there's a smell that goes along with all of them, kind of like how there's the sulfur smell that goes along with all the grays.
Yeah. So I've just seen the time.
I don't know. I honestly think there's a big difference between skinwalkers and werewolves and the dogman. I think there's 3 different animals.
And again, next week, I think next week we should talk about this as well as the nursing home stuff, or the people who are in their life and see things. I think that will make for a good show next week, because there's so many different. We've all got our own opinions about this. You live in bloody Dogman Central, so I think we should all talk about this next week as well. What do you guys reckon?
You guys will be. I won't.
Oh, you'll be away, won't you?
I'm in Greece next week, so
he's in Greece.
I won't be here.
So for some reason he likes wearing rubber underwear and chucking a load of lard down there. So he's in Greece next week. So it's you and me, Josh.
Awesome.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would jump on, but by the time we go live over there, it'll be 11:30 at night. So
you go and have fun. You need it. Yeah, you go and have a well-deserved break. Go and have fun. And bring me back a bottle of Ouzo.
Ooh, I'll have to think about
that. Right, everybody who's joined us.
One of those. You mean one of those little mini ones?
No. Everybody who's joined us on all the different formats, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that lot. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you all next week. Remember, these two have also got their own shows that they do in the week, so go and look them out. Quickly give a plug of your shows.
The Mystical Carousel Show on a Thursday night, 9 p.m. and Fools and Ghouls, and on a Friday night at 8 p.m.
Mystical Carousel is an awesome show. I actually got to be a guest when Wayne was gone last week. It was very much fun. We enjoy working with them, with the ladies. I am the host of Lost to the Rabbit Hole. Come check us out. We have lives coming. I don't know. Everything's kind of sporadic in my life. Just watch the channel. You'll know when something comes up.
I actually watched your show. I quite like it. So yeah. Yeah. We'll be back next week, Monday, every Monday, 9:30 at night, UK GMT, which I think is 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
3:30 Central Standard Time.
There you go. So there you go. And watch Spooky Japan podcast too. Post it up on our wall into our thing, Irene, and we'll all make sure it gets put on the wall. All right. So yeah.
Irene, you're more than welcome to post on Lost to the Rabbit Hole too. Just let me know.
There you go. There you go. See, that's what Power Unity should be about, not a load of bollocks. Anyway, on that note, we will see you all next week. Remember, keep your eyes to the skies. Keep it real. If you see anything, tell either of us. Tell us. Just say, what the fuck I saw? And if you can, get a photo. So anyway, it's goodbye from all of us. So say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
And thank you for joining us from Australia. But yeah, you kind of missed it. Rewatch it. Join us at 9:30 UK time. Bye-bye.